Hello, Act MOU Committee. This is Jake with an update from our last meeting on December 18th. At this meeting, we did a quick check-in and then reminded everybody of the purpose of our meeting. We looked at some focus areas for our MOU, looking at our MOU that we've currently done, and then some talked about credit recognition. And then we did some planning for our upcoming meetings. Since this was our last one, we added some meetings. We did a quick check-in like we always do, and we did welcome Liz Moriarty, who is a representative from our early childhood special education program and also a representative for our our letters early childhood. Reminder of our MOU and what that means. And again, the purpose of our committee is to develop an MOU for our READ Act funding that describes the training programs, letters, and carry-all. Have those done. That's why they're grayed out. The eligible teachers, we finalized that the last time and it's been grayed out. The ones that we still need some work on, that we worked on at this meeting, was our credit recognition. And then we also did just a reminder and update about our compensation model. The other two things that we still have to do are our end date and deadlines and proof of completion. So the purpose of our meeting that we had was to review the draft of our MOU, to discuss our credit recognition, and refer to our compensation model. So the first thing that we did was we looked at the Roseville MOU draft and we walked through it. So I will show you that draft here, and if you'd like to, you can click into the links that we had provided for you within our folder of MOU information, and you can follow along on there too and look at that for yourself. But this was based on the READ Act model MOU, and we just started personalizing it to Roseville and started filling things in. In the model MOU, all the different areas that were marked in red were areas that we needed to go over. And what we're doing now is just, instead of red, we're adding green, where we made changes and had some agreement around. So you can see from our meeting, we filled in some of the easy ones, our school district numbers and our EMR numbers as well. And then we agreed that we would do letters and carry-all. And then we put down the amounts for letters and carry-all for the time required. Then we talked about eligibility, and we did talk through the different areas of eligibility that we have filled in, that they needed to be employed by the district between July 1st, 2021 and June 30th, 2025. And we did add another thing too, and also that they would be a current employee and have completed letters, these different units, 1 through 4 and 5 through 8. And then we also did add in there letters for early childhood units 1 through 4 or carry-all modules 1 through 8. And then we looked at our chart again that we had completed from the last time. This was something that's not in the model MOU, but that we created on our own to describe the different areas of the cohort and some compensation that had been provided and what compensation might look like as we come up to the next decision making around what our compensation would be. So we looked at the letters group that already went through, and we said that they had already provided some board credits as well as some payment, and so that they would not get funding from the READ Act for the letters MDE group. The letters MDE group that only were paid or compensated for those units 1 through 4 would be allowed to be compensated for units 5 through 8, and then they would get some funds. We're not sure what that number is of yet. Letters 2022 group for units 1 through 4 and units 5 through 8, they would be provided some stipend that would be in the same amount as the others as well. And the letters or the carry-all 2024 group for modules 1 through 8 would also have that same amount. We're going to need to add the letters for early childhood as well, so we'll add that as an addition to in our next review. So you can see this is just describes above, just to explain the amounts that we'll eventually land on, and then that they'll be paid in one installment or two installments here, or one installment here. So you can see how those groups relate to the ones above in the chart. So cohort 1B, cohort 2, and cohort 3, all listed above. Then we went down and we said that we need to insert some language in credit recognition. We still need to work on our proof of completion. We need to work on the contingencies for additional time and failure to comply. We did put our effective date and duration of the MOU, that it would start in June 30th, 2025 and be reviewed by both parties in the following contract. That was language what we established in the last time. So that was a quick review of our MOU for Roseville. Also, if you wanted to look at what the model MOU was provided, you can take a look at there. This is a live link that you can take a look at the original one and some of the draft language that we've changed. And again, I identified as we went through, these are the areas that we still need to accomplish. And then we looked at our model MOU credit recognition and looked in the section below where it describes in Appendix 4. It's way down here. Appendix 4 for credit recognition. We read through this, and you can read through this on your own as well to be thinking about what potential credit recognition we would provide. And so you can see what the model MOU suggested. And then we read through other districts, and we just looked at specifically looked at that credit recognition portion of these different districts and got ideas. And then we discussed some of those ideas. And we decided upon the Janesville, Waldorf, Pemberton language to keep our information simple. And what they had said is credits will not be recognized and cannot be used toward lanes changes. We'll put that into our model, or sorry, not our model, but our draft MOU, and have more conversation about that at our upcoming meeting, as we might want more information and detail added to ours as well. Our next big item that we need to discuss is to determine the number of teachers and the amount of stipends. And some of the considerations that we'll need to think about is the payments for our current carry-out cohort. We'll need to make sure that we pay for our letters elementary cohort and our next carry-out cohort. So these ones we have to be thinking about, ones that we have to pay for our current, and some retroactive groups that have gone through already, as well as ones that are coming up in the future. And then also, if there's anybody hired after these cohorts, we have to be thinking about, do we hold over any of the money for these different groups? And then also what PD could look like for those different groups as well. Just a reminder, this is the READ Act compensation information. A reminder that our total amount is around $293,000, and that needs to be divided up within those different groups. So we did some planning for our upcoming meetings, and we set 2 more dates for these upcoming meetings, and we'll be sending out calendar invites for these 2. Wednesday, January 15th from 4:15 to 5:15, and we'll be at the district center in the boardroom for these meetings. Wednesday, January 29th from 4:15 to 5:15 as well. Again, these topics that we'll talk about for our next one is our compensation and adding in some language for our early childhood letters program. And then we did a little quick closing and just thanked you for everything that you continue to do. And we will see you coming up at our meeting on January 15th. Thanks.